Hey, thanks for reaching out. Cool topic. It's kind of fun to think about like real world applications. It's what do they call that? It's like active learning or problem based learning. At any rate, that's the best way to learn for me. So what I'm going to do is show you a few things. But if you want to reach out to me, or we can continue this conversation via email, I'm happy to help. So in this video, I'm going to give you some strategies, show you some examples of keyword strategies, and how to go through, like, if you have like 4,000 results, how to go through those without panicking. Okay, so there are databases, and I'm going to show you some of those at the end, but I'm just going to start out with the library main search, which is great because it looks across business, communication, marketing, maybe some even like sports databases or like kinesiology, exercise, and sports science. So there's a lot of interdisciplinariness. So this is a good place to start. So the first thing that we do so this doesn't look at our cookies or our history or anything like that. So if we misspell, if I misspell lacrosse, I will get, I'll get, oh, did they spell it without an A in what might be Spanish or Portuguese? Well, you only get what you spell correctly. So lesson number one. What it's going to do is it's going to look in everything for the incidence of the word lacrosse. So it's going to cross like all these disciplines, all this time range, and things like that. When you first start out, you could, if you or anyone on your team is unfamiliar with lacrosse, it might be easier just to go to like an AI and say, hey, what's the main values of like people playing lacrosse or trying to market it. So what I would like to do is, and I have my notes over here, I'll send you all the keywords, but we want to add a word. So we want to deliberately define the population we're looking at. So that's a variety. So it might be youth or adolescents or parents. When I put an or in there, it just means find everything in the catalog out of 100 million things, find everything that has an incidence of the word youth. After that's in a pile, throw adolescents, throw parents until you have a big pile. And what I did, instead of typing these, I'm just going to put all of them in here. So whenever you put an or, it's just like, I don't know what the population is called, so I'm just going to call it, like I gave it a context. Quotes are so the two keywords stick together. The parent with the star means parent or parents or parental, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll go from 125,000 to, this is a way of narrowing it down. Whoa, go from 125,000 to 26,000. That's good. Here is my strategy number one. Use this to figure out what's happening in youth lacrosse right now. So there might be books, but it's likely to be a lot of articles. If you want to narrow it down, I recommend you do, because it might be lacrosse is not the most important thing, is I would do a keyword search and make sure that keyword is in the title. That way, it's not just floating around in the abstract, but it should be the most important thing if it's in the title. And if we have 26,000, we can narrow it down. Ooh, 15,000. So what you can do, so there's like newsletters and things like that. You can narrow down by resource type. So if you want to, oh, there's only 12 magazine articles. I'd recommend going straight to peer-reviewed journals. So if there's only 92, assign someone on the team. If you're all watching this together, somebody's going to get this assignment. Have somebody go through just the titles of each of these articles and write down what the main thing is. So it looks like injuries are a big deal. So if this is being talked about in sports medicine, it's being talked about by the parents and the people who are interested in it. So there's injury, 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 injuries. So safety might be a theme. This is a dangerous concussion. I'm hoping for something that trends away from the medical. go. Oh no, it's concussions. Okay, don't don't worry about this. I have a way around this. Spleen injuries. So you might want to talk about like, wear your helmet, kids. Actually, this is an issue. If all the articles are being written about safety, then you have an issue that you can address with parents. And if you were doing a PR campaign for this, you would say, our number one focus is safety. That's awesome. I had no idea lacrosse was so bad for you. Okay, let's move into another search. I'm interested in, like, what do people feel? So if you add a line, I can search within those, and I can do identity or culture. So I saw on their website, the Crispy website, culture or values, and we could do value with a star, so to get value or values. I guess you could do like beliefs and perceptions, but this is a good basic start with. So in the website, they really identify as lacrosse as like the solution for discipline, the solution for athletics, the solution for moving towards college and things like that. So if you do a search that includes these are things that you can hook a wagon to your message. So for example, if people really value discipline, which the Crispy website says discipline like many times. But there's only 3 scholarly reviewed articles. What do we do in this case? And especially if I want like this to be the most important thing, if I want it to be title, there's only 10. We want scholarship because so like boys lacrosse immeasurable value might be somebody talking about promoting it, but it's not evidence-based. It might be their opinion. So what we would do is let's look for other sports that are related. So team sports. So after reading the website, I highly suspect that there's a lot of team sports like that are in high school, K through 12. You could probably add about other ones, but volleyball, baseball, football. Oh, I forgot about soccer. I'm gonna get rid of sports because I want like the team sports because I think that's an emphasis, team and competitive. So if I just want the identity and the values and the culture of people who are parents or kids that are really into this, this is something that you can make an appeal to, a rhetorical appeal, a visual appeal. If it's discipline, maybe you show somebody who's like totally ripped. I don't know. But we're going to go to the peer-reviewed journals again. And here's an assignment for somebody else. Okay, so there's like adolescents' personal values. That would be a good one. Group identity is a huge one. Belonging is a social construct. It's also part of our psychology. You might have to look for the values. Normative values, Z values. Some of these are like medicine. I'm looking for like the psychology. Ooh, spiritual intelligence and self-control. It totally sounds like, oh, what's that karate show? The Karate Kid. You must have spiritual intelligence. Physical characteristics. So do they value being in shape? I mentioned that before, being ripped. There's the injuries again. Talent development, a focus on coaches and parents. All of these are really good. If the person in your team that's reviewing these finds one that's like, ooh, that looks pretty good, what you would do is say, no, I don't want you to update that. Click on the title, and then you can see the abstract. The abstract in a scholarly article is going to give you like all of where they're coming from, like the problem statement, the population that they're working with, 79 coaches, and then they're going to go through the results. So you don't necessarily have to read the whole thing. You can just sample. So if a title looks good, read this and look for something good. If you want the full text, typically those links are like below here. This is doing research. So when you find something, I wanted to emphasize, if you find something that you think is good, it probably is good. There's no kind of canon of like what the best and what the not best are. When you're looking at scholarly articles, it matters what you want to say. But you can dig into a scholarly article in like the first page and maybe the very last page for conclusions. Whoa, maybe the second. There we go. Look for conclusions. There we go, youth development soccer. They might give you just like a single point, like kids don't like to be yelled at or something like that. But that's what you would use to build your case. Okay, let's do another one. What if we want to find out, we're looking for like a case study. So I found public relations. Let me show you all these keywords that I found. It could be like strat, comm, publicity, brand management, PR campaigns, marketing, public relations. If you don't know the keywords for it, if you go to your favorite AI and say, hey, give me keywords related to public relations campaign, all of these keywords are ones that you could put in an OR. So media relations, communications, messaging. You could also do social media, but that's kind of like, I would want the marketing. I mean, you could tag it in the end, but take a look at this. Once we do this search, and again, I'm in the title because so much has been written on this. Not as much with lacrosse. So in these, I would say you could feel free to like grab stuff. So advertising, promotion, that might be a good one, but beware that the date of some of these is kind of iffy. But here's sports marketing, youth team sports. There might be something in there. You should be able to access these things. If you're at home and you don't get access, log in here or log into Canvas or CIS and then come back. You should be able to get into there. For peer-reviewed journals, yeah, team branding in minor league baseball. You can totally borrow from that sport and apply it to lacrosse because there's not a lot of development of lacrosse as there is baseball in the United States. Emotional intelligence. Oh, that's awesome. They totally riff on that at the Crispy site. Big tobacco. There's some where you might be just like, yeah, this doesn't work at all. Okay, databases. There's a few that I'll recommend. One, you can go to, oh, what would it be? Exercise and sports science? I think they call it kinesiology now. Scopus, there's one called sport. Oh, there's a leisure and tourism. Hey, sports. Sports business research. So this was all under kinesiology. There we go, Sport Discus. Sport Discus is like a full text catch-all. So I'm going to do all of my keywords. I grudgingly accept. I do all my keywords, which again, you'll have in the email that I've sent to you. Let's see what the Sport Discus has to say. If you went into a medical database, it'd be all about concussions and injuries. Oh, you could get a sponsor from like a professional player. I'm guessing that's the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, cool. Inspiration. I didn't think I would get into this topic as much. Okay. There's a lot of databases, though. Here's my list. Go to, Okay, one more. So in subject, kinesiology, and another one is business. There's no separate marketing. Marketing and business are stuck together. But I have a list of my favorite databases under research guides. If you go to communication and you go to the PhD and Masters, may as well. Here's how finding keywords. We already did that. In the discipline-specific research, Common Mass Media Complete, great database. All of these are just databases that you can go to. This one's communication. So this will have more strat-comm than marketing, probably. But Sociological Abstracts talks about people around the world. PsycInfo is like emotional intelligence. So there's Business Source Premier. This is public policy. Are too many kids getting hurt? Like helmet laws for football. Here's the nursing and medicine one. I think we've got enough of that. Let me know how it goes. I'm happy to help further.